It's a super funnel day here at the Cheeky Sales Coach because we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization. As you know, I collect funnels. I love funnels. I'm mostly interested in sales funnels, and marketing funnels lead to sales funnels. Important safety tip: sales and marketing are not the same thing. Go back and look at episode 1. Welcome to episode 15 of the Cheeky Sales Coach, the truth about SEO. Things aren't always what they look like. Sometimes what you think is a background is just a mirror. When we talk about SEO, a lot of people are very defensive because they put a lot of money into it and they don't want to be wrong. So I really encourage you to let me give you one other approach to SEO, an approach that will probably make you money in the long run. But first, I need you to put your barriers down, turn your shields down, and be ready to listen to this. So I'm going to try to be as supportive as possible. I just want you to hear a perspective from somebody who has spent many thousands and thousands of dollars per month on sales and marketing over the course of many years. And I have a role that SEO plays in my business, and I want to make sure that you use SEO appropriately and don't think of it as the killer sales process of all time. Obviously, the word of the day is SEO, which isn't really a word, but that's okay. SEO is search engine optimization. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, search engine optimization is very much what it sounds like. SEO, search engine optimization, simply means that you're going to optimize the metadata on your website so that search engines will find it and know what your website is all about, and in a perfect world, you will be at the top of the search results. Let me give you an example. So let's say that you're selling IT consulting services to small and medium businesses in Sacramento, California. So in a perfect world, when Google or Bing or whoever spiders through your site, you want there to be a tag on every graphic, every video, every link, right? There should be descriptions, there should be all kinds of things that the end user might not see, probably won't see, but the search engines will see. You can't just put up a funnel. The funnel has to have a link that says funnel or search engine funnel or IT consulting funnel or something like that. So the goal is for all of that stuff inside your site to make it clear to Google that they found the right place. Here's the thing. All the search engines have one very fundamental goal. When you go to search for something, they want you to find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for jars for canning jam and jelly, well, they want to make sure you find the right jars, not jars used for other things. So a canning supply website needs to be optimized for that. Here's just a super simple example. If you're looking for funnels so that you can take liquids and put them into an engine, right? A funnel, for example, for pouring oil into the engine or radiator fluid or whatever, you're looking for a different funnel than if you're searching for marketing funnel or sales funnel, right? Conceptually, that's a different thing. But the word funnel is common to both of those things. So how does a computer, which is, pretty stupid, know which kind of funnel you're talking about? And that's the key to success. It's got to understand enough context And SEO has the job of giving it that context. Theoretically, I should be able in any city, but let's just say Sacramento, California, because that's where I live. I should be able to go online and say, I'm looking for a computer consultant. And it's going to know I'm in Sacramento, and it's going to know that I'm looking for a specific thing. Well, computer consultant or IT service provider or managed service provider, those are pretty amorphous terms in the big picture. So somehow you got to talk the language of the search engine, and that's what an SEO consultant should be able to do for you. So I put in my search term, I need a computer consultant, and up should come a list that should only be computer consultants, only within Sacramento, California, or willing to service me. In fact, that almost never works. So let's talk about 6 or 7 things you need to know about making good decisions about SEO. Thing number 1, and this is critical. SEO is part of marketing, not sales. Check out the earlier videos. Marketing is intended to get people to you so you can sell them. So the role of SEO is to get people to you, and more specifically, into your funnel, into your marketing funnel, maybe even into your sales funnel. That's one of the roles of marketing, is to get people into your sales funnel. Remember, one of the key things about marketing, marketing represents money out the door. It cannot have a financial return on investment. You can measure the performance of marketing, but you cannot measure return on investment because it's not intended to return an investment. Now, if SEO gets you into a sales funnel and the sales funnel has a return on investment, that's good. If the marketing does an amazing job and fills your funnel so full that you can't even return all the calls, that's awesome. But it's the returning the call that is the sales. You could spend $1 billion on SEO and you would never make a sale unless the next piece of the puzzle does its job, whether that's your landing page, your offer, whatever. So SEO's job is to bring people to you. So it can be successful, but it can't be profitable. All it can do is fill your sales funnel or your marketing funnel. Thing number 2, each piece of your process must be successful. What that means is, for example, that your website has to be successful. So it's great if you can get a bunch of people to go to your website, find you on the internet. But then, what are they finding? What do they click on? Does it look like what they were looking for? Is your website a sales website? Does it have an amazing and awesome call to action? In other words, when I go to your site, does it answer my question? Yes, I am a computer consultant. I will help you if you are a small or medium-sized business. Yes, I offer a free network analysis. Yes, enter in your information here and we will contact you. Join our newsletter, download a free report, whatever. Your website absolutely has to do its job. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if people come to your site. If your site is not action-oriented, is not a sales site, does not engage people to fill out the form and download your free report, then it doesn't matter. You can be the top of SEO for the rest of your life and you will get nothing ever in return. You won't get any appointments. Or if your website is not well designed, you might actually end up getting only people who are bottom feeders, who can't afford your services, who don't want to engage. They're just hoping that they could spend $100 and somebody's going to fix all their stuff and they'll be good for the next 10 years. Well, there's no point in marketing to people like that. So Your SEO has to do its job, but the landing page has to do its job. You might even create a landing page specifically for people who wander in off the internet and find you through SEO. But that requires that you spend money on a good interactive web design. Thing number 3, 90% of the success of SEO happens right at the beginning. In other words, once you've got the tags, once you've got the descriptions, once you've got the graphics all figured out and all your metadata is good, then your SEO probably is not going to change much unless your website changes a lot. The way that you optimize SEO is to spend the money up front, and I highly recommend that you save yourself a bunch of money. Don't pay for it month to month to month unless you are changing your website all the time. And chances are you're not. Thing number 4, natural SEO is probably a better performer than constantly tuning up your graphics. Here's what I mean by natural SEO. So imagine that you've got a blog and every week you put up one short article, 300 words, that gives tips on antivirus or tips on the latest ransomware or tips on how to optimize your use of cloud services or how to connect Outlook to, blah, 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 right? Whatever it might be, if you've got tips, then there's a reason for people to come back. And more importantly, Google and Bing and whoever else will search through your website and see that it's changed, which helps raise you in the SEO ranking. And they will see that there's actual content there. So when people search for tips on ransomware for a small business, you're a legit hit and you don't have to go messing around with the metadata in order to make that happen. All you do is just put up an article once a week, once a week, once a week. Or if you write a newsletter once a month, post your newsletter on your website. So again, you've got the change, which raises your score with Google, and you've got more actual content. The whole point of SEO is that Google wants to give good results. So if you legitimately are producing good information directly relevant to the topics that people are searching for, you are the correct result, right? So if from Google's perspective, they want you to actually be who you pretend to be. And that's very different from going to SEO and saying, hey, I know that we're going to constantly be updating this and we want to be always pushing you to the top of the search results, even if it's inappropriate, right? If you're at the top of the wrong search results, okay, great, you're at the top of the right of the search results, but who cares? You're never going to have a direct hit between you and the people who are looking for you. Number 5, just remember, it's one of the great truths of sales, one of the great truths of life. Most of the time, most of the people don't need what you're selling. As a result, success comes from sustained efforts. Always be marketing, always be selling. You need a campaign, one campaign after another of marketing to try to reach the people who need you today at this minute. And sales to try to get a hold of the people who need you today at this minute. In the big, big picture, people don't need you most of the time, so you need to be top of mind on the day that their hard drive fails, on the day that their IT consultant doesn't return their phone call. And the way that you do that is by having a series of ongoing successful campaigns for both marketing and sales. And SEO plays a tiny, tiny role in that. Think about what happens when somebody sits down to actually find you. It's very important that you make sure that your marketing and sales work together to get you the clients you need, and that leads us to thing number 6. Number 6 You've heard this advice before, but you need to begin with the end in mind. Through any successful sales process, you literally have to draw a storyboard. And at the end is a brand new client signing a contract. Who is that client? Is it a 10-person operation? Is it a 50-employee manufacturer? Who are you trying to sell? And then you need to make sure that everything you do leading up to that, your entire sales process, has to be geared towards getting that ideal client to sign your deal. And your entire marketing process has to be designed to get those ideal clients into your sales funnel so that eventually they'll be the ones who sign the contract. So SEO very frequently attracts the wrong kind of people. And so you're getting top of search engine results, but you're either getting no click-throughs or you're not getting the right people through to the end of the sales process. And that's because there's a mismatch, right? SEO is doing this and your sales process needs it to be here. If you could line them up, then SEO can get you the right people, but it's very, very difficult. And fundamentally, it's difficult because that's not the point of SEO. In my opinion, SEO should be a checkbox. You should optimize your website. You should have a tag on every graphic. You should have good descriptions. You should take care of the metadata. And once you've done that, then start an actual marketing or sales campaign. But you shouldn't spend a lot of time, effort, energy, or money continually buying SEO services when really paying somebody $15 an hour to just call every manufacturer in town is far more likely to get you an appointment. Think about who you want your clients to be, where they live, where they hang out, how can you get access to them, and that will be a much better way for you to spend your marketing dollars. Finally, thing number 7, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, and I totally get that, but this is very sincere and true from my heart, from somebody who has been doing sales and marketing for a couple of decades. The first thing an SEO salesman sells is you, and the next thing that gets sold is probably nothing. Most people don't track their return on investment. And what happens is, and this is thing number 7, we are sold SEO, which is a marketing tool, as if it's a sales tool. In other words, people are sold SEO on the false belief that it will bring them sales, when in fact, it is a marketing tool and therefore it is not designed to bring sales. It's not that it's not successful, but even if it were perfectly successful, if you were at the top of the search engine every day for a year, that doesn't mean you're going to have a single client or a single click-through. You know, being successful getting SEO, they are able to point and say, see, there's your website, there's your website, there's your website. But in the big, big picture, if I were searching out there, I may or may not ever search for your website. That's not it. I might search someplace and say, help, my hard drive failed. In fact, I might very well search on Facebook and say, hey, my hard drive failed. Is there anybody who can help me? Hey, my daughter's computer crashed. Is there anybody that can help me in Sacramento? I might go on Reddit, on a forum that is related to small homeowners in my association in Sacramento, and say, oh my gosh, I'm having problems getting connected to the internet. Is there anybody who can help me? In other words, I don't go to Google and put in, my hard drive crashed, please help me. I go somewhere else. And so advertising, actual sales-based advertising, might be a better spend for you. Because if you want to get sales, you have to invest in sales. If all you want is marketing, that's fine. You can spend money on marketing, but remember, there's no ROI for marketing. ROI comes on the sales side. So I encourage you to think about the person who goes onto Facebook and says, I'm having a hard problem with my hard drive. You've seen this. You go on Facebook and you say, my daughter needs leggings for a school play. And you see ads for leggings for the next 3 months. Well, you put in, my business needs to get connected to the internet. You're going to see ads all day and all night for people who can get you connected to the internet. And guess what? Almost nobody is advertising there. The reason you get to be top of SEO is because almost nobody is actually out there trying to get to top of SEO in your market. So if you're the only one spending money to be at the top of the SEO, well, okay, guess what? You're going to be successful. But if you're spending money putting an ad on Reddit, putting an ad on LinkedIn, putting an ad on Facebook, putting an ad where your potential customers actually hang out, well, chances are pretty good they will find you, and then it becomes inbound sales calls. Hey, I saw your ad on Reddit and I was hoping that you could help me out. So think about the big picture and talk to somebody who will sell you something that will actually get clients in the door, that's designed to help you with sales, not designed to help you with marketing and sold as if it will bring you sales. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I totally get that. But I think it's important, because I have seen in my industry, just in the last 5 years, people spending tens of thousands of dollars, some of them $10,000 a year, a handful of them several thousand a month on SEO. And the bottom line is, unless you can prove to me that people go search for something, they search for hard drive failure, find your website, and magically call you up and beg you to help them, I just don't think it's happening. And when I have hired coaching clients, time and time again, they tell me they're doing SEO. And when I look, I call their customers. I call every new customer they got in the last 12 months. And guess what? I have never found anybody who said, I did an internet search and found somebody that I wanted to do business with and give them thousands of dollars a month. People will do a search, but then they'll say, oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook, or I saw it on LinkedIn, or right, in which case I know that they saw an ad, not an SEO spend. Anyway, if you question me, totally fine. Put it in the comments down below. If you have questions about this, put it in the questions down below. If you think I'm wrong, that's totally cool. Don't be nasty about it. Just put some comments down below. Prove to me, show me that I'm wrong. And I guess I'm going to get a whole bunch of ads for SEO the minute this thing goes up. Because the best thing that SEO salespeople can do is sell SEO, but not get you any business. I hope this helps. One way or another, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, like it, blah, 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 blah. And I'll see you next time on the Cheeky Sales Coach. Call to action. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss a thing.